Well, it's no secret that right now gold's close to $5,000. It's February 12th, 2026, towards the evening, U.S. time, and gold and silver both just kind of took a dive. Actually, gold's down $100 to 49.72. But when I say a dive, I mean we got to compare that to again August 15th, 2019, when it was $1,523. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I just got an offer here on a nice gold Aureus of Antoninus Pius that I got on Heritage. I won it at an auction back on August 15th, 2019. And as they're pointing out here, I paid, including my premium of 20%, $6,000. So it must have hammered at 5,000. Paid 6,000, probably plus 25 bucks for shipping and handling. And it's a very nice coin. Antoninus Pius aurii are not really rare. It's kind of the cheapest, nice condition aureus from that period, really almost from any period that you're going to get. Here it is on the Heritage website. It's the actual auction listing, and you see it's very nice. And you got to figure, at least compared to American Eagle gold coins, maples, or just generic Credit Suisse or Asahi or whatever gold bars I could have gotten in 2019, this must be a lot more rare, even if it's not rare compared to other Orei. And it's a nice coin to have in your collection, right? And I was excited to win it. I remember I was on vacation and I was using my phone bidding in the auction, and I was excited to win it. And it was a lot of money, $6,000. And I bring this up now because someone made the offer on it of $9,000, which is 50% higher than what I paid, but Heritage would take 10%. So I get 8,100 bucks. And if you take into account that I paid, let's say, 25 to ship, I'd be making less than $2,100, which is like 33, 34% gain after almost 6.5 years. So, what if at the time, instead of buying this coin and having the fun of bidding on it against other people, I would have just. And by the way, I don't think that was a crazy price I paid for it. I think that was probably maybe a little strong, but about what the market price for that particular coin would have been at that time. So at the time, if I would have bought 3.5 ounces of generic gold, which I would have gotten at 15 something an ounce, 1,500 something dollars an ounce, I could have almost gotten 4 ounces of gold. Not quite, but almost. This is a historic peculiarity, obviously, that you can't pick just any 6 year period in history and have this happen, but I would have been way ahead on just buying generic gold or any gold. If it was just gold, cheaper the better. Because right now, again, with gold almost at $5,000, you're looking at the price of just gold bars having been bought with $6,000 going up more than 3 times, 300% gain, versus if I sell this now at a 10% loss, like a 33% gain. That's a huge difference. It's not a significant difference, it's a huge difference. Night and day. And now I'm sure someone's going to jump in and say, well, you should have bought Bitcoin. And in 2019, I don't even know what Bitcoin was. I don't care. I don't. But, and I'll just, as an aside, I was told by my brother's ex-wife in 2011, January or February, I should look at Bitcoin. And I already knew about it because I was watching all the videos on YouTube. I was watching Da Vinci J. I was watching Don Harold and everybody talking about Mount Gox and everything. I knew about Bitcoin. I didn't. Let's not say I knew about it. I'm sure everyone's going to say I didn't know about it, but I was aware of it and what the idea was. And again, Da Vinci J, that guy who's now somewhere in the Caribbean and was mining it on his computers in his crappy apartment. I'm sure he's a trillionaire now. I was aware of Bitcoin, and I thought, well, this is stupid. And again, I was told by my brother's ex-wife, you should look at this. And I thought, well, that's stupid. And I was buying gold and silver and coins. So, lesson learned. I'm not always right. Anyway, forget about that. Just buying gold bars. Or if I bought silver, I don't even want to look at the numbers on silver because I was buying silver. Also, I was buying silver and gold since 2008. But at this time, you got to keep in mind, I've been somewhat demoralized. I wasn't putting as much money into just silver and gold because of what had happened from 2011, August, let's call it August of 2011, to 2019. So 8 solid years of not a lot. In fact, in 2011 was the first time it crossed 1500 going up. So now we're at, 1500 and something, 2019. So 8 years later, nowhere. I'll give you the background here. I got into silver and then gold from coins. I started buying Roman Republic denarii after I was buying bronze junk, whatever they were, the Imperial Constantine and coins from around the beginning of the 300s AD on eBay. I collected coins as a kid, then I didn't care, and then I was 25 in 2005, and I started, because I was reading Polybius and Livy about the Second Punic War, I started buying the coins on eBay when I discovered, my God, you can get actual Roman Republic silver coins on eBay, and I did. And I still have the first one I got. And then I filled up a dish with Roman Republic silver denarii between 2005 and 2000. I kept going until 2011, but 2008, because I was already on eBay searching for these, either something popped up. I don't know exactly what happened, but somehow I saw just silver, bars. And I thought, wow, just pure silver, 999. I started looking into it, and I bought my first 999 silver, 100-ounce bar for $1,600 and something dollars. And from there, that was on eBay. It was just a generic, no-name 100-ounce bar, which sadly I don't have. I sold it. I started going on AppMex. I discovered AppMex, and I started buying the generic silver. So you buy 100, 200, 300 ounces. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what sizes the bars are going to be. They're just going to send you 300 ounces somehow. And I do still have some of that. Some of that's incredible that it was just generic silver. This is, again, between $1,500 and $1,700 per 100 ounces. And I got a bunch of B.R. McKay and Sons bars, weird 10 to 11 ounce bars. So anyway, I was really into that. 2008, 2009, 2010. It's going up until 2000, late 8, and then it crashed in about November, December 2008. It got up as high as I think 18, 19 bucks, close to 20. Crashed down, got to 9 by the end of 2008. In March of 2009, I had silver bars made in the name of my business that I was just starting, which I still have some of, but I gave a bunch of those away, more than 140 or 150 ounces. I just gave away as 1-ounce bars with my business name on it. And I sold some silver to buy my first house back in 2010, etc. I got really into it, and I was really into it as it ran up into 2011, which we all remember. And I sold virtually no silver going up as it approached 49.50. That was disheartening. And I remember again in 2011 gold, which I bought my first gold in 2008, and I sold a bunch of that to get the house too. It hit 1,500, and then it went up till 1,900. I wasn't selling any of that, and I've still got that gold and silver, and I kept it through all those years from 2011. I bought it in 2012, 13, here and there. By you get to 2014, 15, it was like, this was a big mistake. I didn't sell it. I bought a little here and there, because I was like, wow, I can just get rolls of eagles for this much. But I wasn't buying it the same way I had in 08, 09, 10, Let's face it, even in 2011, paying as much as $30, $35 an ounce for some of it, which seemed psycho until very recently. So I started shifting back to coins. I gravitated from coins to the bullion, and by the end of 2011, I was gravitating back towards coins. And let's say by 2016, I do remember, thankfully, I bought some silver and gold 2015-16, which was incredibly cheap, like $1,100 for mint state double eagles and some of the Australian lunar series monkeys and stuff. But mostly I was buying rare coins. I really got into it 2016, 17, 18, 19 because the bullion wasn't really going anywhere. And the coins were going up, I could tell. Rare coins, ancient, modern, ducats, hammered type coins. And that's been my focus since then, more and more and more. In 2019, this coin is just an example of that. This is where I was at that time because the gold as a bullion didn't seem like it was a good place to throw the money. So I went on this long ramble and talked about this just to express that it goes back and forth. And from 2019 until now, where I've really put most of my new extra money that I've had for buying either bullion or coins towards the coins, monetarily it should have been towards just bullion. That's only really become apparent in the last 2 years. If you would have checked in 2 years ago, the coins, like again, if we look through what happened in 2020, 2021, 2022, rare coins kept just gradually going up and up and up at auction. And so I've been buying them and selling them and making a 10 to 20% profit a year on that, on the ones I sell. I have a core collection I don't sell, including this coin. So I rejected this offer. Even if they offer me like 12,000, I'd reject it because I like this coin and it's part of my collection. But there would come a point where I'd take it probably. And I have sold some coins through offers made to me through Heritage. But at least in the last 2 to 3 years, probably I should have been buying more bullion. We could all say that, right? But I don't feel bad about it because the rare coins, I think, are going to maintain their slow, steady upward progress. And there will come a point where the bullion is stagnating or going backwards. And these coins are going to keep slowly going up. So in the end, who's going to win? If we check in what I'm about to kick, or my kids are getting it, I'm not sure. But I do still have a lot of faith in the rare coins in good condition. When I say rare, again, I understand this is not really if you're collecting Orei, this is not a rare emperor or a rare version of this emperor's coins. But if you compare it to, a lot of other things, sure, it's kind of rare. It's rarer than a Morgan dollar, right? So, and here you can look at what have other coins been selling for of this emperor, and you got to keep in mind it depends on the reverse and the style and the dies. They're all different. There's so many. This guy was in business a long time, and so he had a lot of different styles and reverses and dies. And then of course the NGC grading comes into play. If there's any remarks like edge marks here, brushed, flan flaw even, which is ridiculous that a flan flaw would count against a coin. But some buyers will say, well, that's a problem, even though it's literally just the flan has some sort of warping in it or something, and the coin doesn't look bad. But you can see these have been selling for 10,000, whatever. A little fine style. Mine does not have that designation. So you have to look at one that doesn't have any issues with it, like this one maybe. 13.2, but maybe it's a different, it probably is, a different setup on the coin. 22, but it's got a star, right? People are crazy about that. You can watch Aaron Burke's channel, the Ancient Coin podcast to get some legitimate remarks about that malarkey going on. And the last thing I'll bring up is If I was trying to unload this coin, would this be a good way to do it through this, you know, offer from someone through Heritage, or even selling it at an auction on Heritage? So maybe I could take advantage of the higher auction prices that might be gotten than 9,000. Because you figure whoever made this offer is probably figuring if I bid on one of these at auction that is the same kind, same condition, I'm going to end up paying more. And they figure, well, I'm going to still like it because instead of at auction where there's a 22 and a half now buyer's premium plus maybe even a seller's premium, I'm coming out better here. So they figure, let's make a deal. I want to point out that on eBay, over $4,000, they're not even charging you the usual fee. So if I were to sell this on eBay, where I have a store, so I'm paying 10% on the first 4,000, including payment processing, I'm going to get paid basically immediately, and my fee is going to be substantially less than 10,000 because if the total price is anything over 4,000, the fee is less than 10%. So I'd be coming out better already if I could sell this on eBay for $9,000, even with free shipping that I cover. Let's say I pay $150 with insurance and shipping. Uh, I sold a $29,000 coin on eBay in September last year. Frederick II Hohenstaufen Augustale, which you've seen perhaps if you watch my channel. I got it in 2021 raw, got it graded, has a test cut. Some guy in Florida bought it for $29,000. My total fee on that was like $1,100. It's much less than 10%. So it's almost less than 3 or 4%. If I were to sell this at auction on Heritage, so even just through this program, Heritage is going to take 10%. And I am going to have to ship it to Heritage, right? I don't just get to, they're not going to send me a box. I have to ship it to Heritage safely so they can do the deal. If I were to sell it at an auction, if I were to give it to Heritage, I have a coupon where if I sell anything that hammers for $1,000 or more, they'll waive the seller's fee. Wasn't that nice? But they're still charging the 22.5% buyer's premium. That's basically a fee to me also, isn't it? Because whoever's bidding on the coin is looking at what they're going to have to pay for the coin total. They don't care about how it's allocated. So it's not the hammer price, it's the total price, which credit to Heritage, they do a good job of showing as the bids go up what the total will be, including the premium. But that means basically I'm losing 22.5 even if I don't pay any seller's fee to Heritage for them to sell this coin. So unless somehow magically, because it's an auction and because it's Heritage, where indeed they have a huge audience of people who pay a lot for no problem 5 out of 5 type NGC graded coins, maybe it's going to hammer or sell at some huge price. But again, you can't count on that. And even if it does happen, even if they sell it for, these were all fine style most recently, 10,800, although they have some issues. This one doesn't have any issues. 10,200, fine style. Just almost, not quite 2 years ago. It's a nice coin. It's a better portrait than mine. I'm going to lose 2,000. I'm going to get less than if they just take 10% on the offer I've already got through them. Whereas if I could find this same guy and sell it on eBay, I'm going to get more than $8,100. Because again, they're only going to take 10% on the first 4,000. So on the next 5,000, I'm going to pay some, I don't know what the fee is, but it's a lot less. So I'd pocket more than $8,100 even after having to pay for shipping and insurance, which I'm going to have to pay for anyway to get it to Heritage. So these things are all worth thinking about, especially if you're going to unload your coins at some point. And they're worth thinking about before you buy your coins, what are you going to do with them? If you intend to do anything with them. And I do sell certain coins, not this one, but I sell certain coins. I buy them to sell them. And I sell primarily through my own website or on eBay. I've never sold a coin at a heritage auction. I have accepted certain offers that people have made to me on heritage. Not many. I reject most of them, but I have accepted some. Some people, that is the nice thing. I mean, some people have made some crazy offers, mostly on Islamic dinars, specifically from Yemen mints. Something's going on with that. But mostly I don't accept them. But if I was going to sell, I would try to sell it myself. And I have tried to sell things through certain other auction houses a little bit, and I have not been happy. Not as happy as I've been just leaving things on my website or on eBay for buy it now at the price that I want. And as egregious as some of the fees on eBay sometimes seem to be, and as much as there are other options now, like the whatnot people have been after me, and I've heard of L5. I'm not saying anything bad about those. I haven't tried them, but eBay has a it's like the heritage of whatever these two things are. They have the biggest audience. And pound for pound, between the two, unless you're in a rush, you might do better selling on the old pedestrian eBay. So anyway, what might you be better doing? You might be better just buying bullion, but you got to look at what's going on. I should have looked perhaps a little more at it's depressed. I should buy the bullion. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's been boring. No one wants it. 5 years, 6 years, 8 years. It's been doing nothing. It's been going backwards. Maybe that was the time to buy more, and I didn't. In fact, that obviously appears to be the case. But I think these coins are going up compared to even other things you have the option of buying. And if you get nice ones, I think you're not throwing your money away. So there's a nice ASMR talk about ancient coins and auctions and all that stuff. Have a great evening. Bye bye.